Well, we have Martin Avis in the Tesla today. Hi, Martin.
Hello.
Great to have you here. Now, Martin is kind of like the godfather of email marketing to me, because he's the guy that introduced me to email marketing. So I just want to say a big thank you, Martin. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be on this road trip today.
It was a long time ago.
So, quick question, Martin. Favourite film?
Oh, I've got so many favourites. I think
okay, favourite film this month.
Anything Star Trek is probably my favourite.
And have you seen any good films lately?
I went to see The Suicide Squad last night.
Wow, what was that like?
Not as good as I'd hoped. It was
a bit like its name then.
Yeah, well, it's one of these films where they spend the first half of the film introducing the characters and then they have to rush to get the story going.
Oh, yeah.
But I would imagine the second one would be better.
Fantastic. Okay, favourites? No, actually, your best performing subject line in an email. That'd be really useful to know.
Oh, that's giving away secrets, isn't it? Funnily enough, my best performing subject line was an accidental one.
Yeah.
And it just said part 2.
Oh, just part 2.
And there hadn't been a part 1.
Okay.
And I think the curiosity of what it was about got people opening it. But yeah, that worked really well. But I sent it out entirely by accident because I hadn't meant to send it at all.
Did you get lots of people asking where part 1 was?
I did, yes.
How bizarre. So Martin, how would you? I mean, it's quite interesting. Now, you taught me email marketing, and you know when I first started, I remember when I first actually met you, which was let me turn right here. Okay.
Right, yeah.
When I first met you, it was at that seminar run by Frank Aaron at Hammersmith, actually.
Yeah.
And I remember being there having a coffee with somebody, and somebody actually said to me in the lobby, I think it was either before the event or maybe it was like in the first coffee break, they said, you know, you do realise email marketing's dead. It's like old school. In 2010, no one's going to be doing email marketing. Yeah. And I just found that quite funny that here we are, in 2016, and we're both making our living.
I make my living
with email marketing. So what would you say to people who think that, maybe it's on its way out, people aren't using email anymore?
It's become more difficult to get through to people's inboxes. I'll certainly agree with that. But if people want to read you, then they will find a way to whitelist you. They'll find a way to open your emails. They'll learn that your email's gone to the junk box and then do something about it. So if you write the sort of email that people want to read, there is no problem.
Yeah.
What there is a problem with is sending out the usual let's send out 4 promotions today type of email with no content other than just an ad, and those are getting really hard to get delivered. But generally, email marketing, I think, is alive and well and thriving in Sid Cups.
Right, absolutely. Fantastic. So what are your favourite things about working from home and not having a real job? Because I don't feel like I've got a real job, do you?
No. My family often say to me, when are you going to get a proper job? Well, I think I'm too old to get a job at all now. But what do I like working for? I just love, I don't feel like I've worked a single day since I started in this business, really. It's fun to do. The people you meet are really good fun. And it's just amazing to wake up in the morning and find your PayPal account is a lot bigger than it was the night before you went to bed.
That's exactly what I feel like.
And it's the total freedom that you have. When you work for someone else, you've got to get up in the morning at 6 or whatever time. You've got that awful commute to get to work. You've got hours. I mean, I worked for 25 years in advertising and hated most of it. Yeah. And watching the clock go by every day. And then the commute back again, and then you're too tired really to enjoy your family, and the drudgery. I mean, anyone watching this will know exactly what that's like. But when you work for yourself, and when you work certainly in internet marketing, you don't have any of that drudgery because you choose. I mean, if I want to work 8 o'clock in the morning, I can. If I want to work at midnight, I can. And I'm using the term work very loosely because writing a few paragraphs of an email is hardly work by normal people's standards. And you have total freedom to do what you like. If I want to go to the pictures during the day, then I do. If I want to take my wife out to dinner, or if my wife wants me to take her out to dinner, which is more like it, we do. And you just can't do that in the real world, in a proper job. There's nothing proper, I think, about a job. I think what we do collectively as internet marketers marketers is almost like magic.
So what would you say? So I think the interesting thing about all of this is, like, I feel exactly the same way, Martin. I feel like I haven't had a proper job for many years now, I just love that whole point about internet marketing. The fact that I can now just do this road trip for the next week. I know I've got money coming in each day. It doesn't really matter.
And what a wonderful car this is.
Yeah, it's great fun, isn't it? So I have to ask you, since you're sitting in a cool car, obviously accept this experience right now. What's one of the coolest things that's happened to you as an internet marketer? Like cool moments?
Oh, I think going to seminars and meeting heroes.
Where
really.
are we going on this roundabout?
We want to turn left.
Left here. Okay, yep.
Yeah, I think going to seminars and meeting your heroes is a wonderful thing. I mean, people that you read about online, people that you look up to online.
Watch this.
Oh dear. Left my stomach about half a mile back.
Yeah.
Sarah's showing off the acceleration power of the Tesla, which apparently is better than the Ferrari, but...
And we've just got police speech right there.
Not a good idea with the
police. Where are we going on this roundabout?
We're going over there.
Okay.
You'll note if you're watching this that I'm not very good at directing, so we might end up nowhere at all. But yeah, I mean, people like Marlon Sanders, who I've looked up to for years, and he's one of my first people online that I learned stuff from. Mm-hmm. You know, I've met him now several times at seminars, and we email each other, and you find that these people that you've put on a pedestal aren't really, they're just regular people like you and I.
They're not famous. Well, kind of.
They're famous within our field.
Yeah.
But they're just regular people, and it's great. Yeah. Great to have that opportunity.
Should we get the car to drive itself?
Oh.
Let's do that now then. There we go. And the car's now driving itself. No hands.
It might be better than your driving.
Yeah. We can see it's going around the corner.
This is just silly, isn't it?
No, it's really funny, isn't it? But yeah, we're internet marketers, so I guess it's quite interesting, and I'm really into gadgets, and I know you are as well. Yeah. And this car's got to be like the ultimate gadget, hasn't it? I still can't get over how it drives itself.
What you can't see watching on the video is the smell. The smell of this car is wonderful.
The new car smell.
New car, new leather is wonderful.
Sort of like it's a mixture between new car and new iPad smell, isn't it? Yeah. Oh dear.
We should be on American TV. This is like carpool karaoke, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't get me to sing. Whatever.
So we're going to take the next exit and then go back down, or we can just carry on straight on and do kind of a loop back, can we, or something? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that's quite interesting. The car's actually slowing down on itself now because it's a camera. Oh right. Okay. Is it 40 mile an hour limit here? Is it something? Don't know. Oh yes, it is. Yes, a 40 limit here. Right.
This is all too weird. I don't know if you can see, but Sarah's sitting there not touching the steering wheel at all, and the car's just taking us where we want to go.
Actually, I meant to have my hands on the steering wheel. I'm just token like this. So it's got to be one of the weirdest moments in internet marketing, I guess. It's got to be up there, hasn't it? So, where do you see internet marketing going, Martin? I mean, with internet marketing right now, we're all making money with email marketing, which is still, for me and for ever since I've started, being the most profitable way and the best way to make money as an internet marketer. And I think one of the easiest ways, really. Yeah. But where do you ultimately see internet marketing going? Do you think it's just going to carry on exactly the same way over the next few years? Or do you see any big changes or anything?
I don't see huge changes. The methods of doing it change all the time. Yeah. When I started out, I think I first started making my living online in about 2004, so 12 years or so. The things that we did back then, 12 years ago, are different now to the things that we do now. Email marketing has stayed pretty much the same. Yeah. Do very old things.
I don't know why it's bleeping. It's making lots of very weird noises, so I'm going to take it out of autopilot. Yeah. Maybe it doesn't like the road surface. Yeah, go on.
But back then there were fads of building sites for AdSense revenue.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
And to some extent you could still do that, but not nearly as successfully. I knew people then who were making £250,000 every few months just from AdSense revenue. Yeah. And that's really died the death. Now we've got social media marketing coming up. Facebook marketing is so much bigger than I think anybody expected it to get, and it just continues to grow. But that's just another way of marketing. There's really no difference between what we do now and what people did for marketing 100 years ago. It's just getting a message in front of people by the best means possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because, you know, loopholes and fads, they kind of come and go, and there's always some new system, some new software, some new, you know, I don't know, where it's Facebook this week, Twitter next week, you know, like we said, made for AdSense sites. But the one thing that stayed kind of constant has been email marketing, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It hasn't really changed an awful lot. I think people have got a bit more sophisticated at it.
Yeah.
And the danger of being reported for spam has become much more than it was back then. But no, that hasn't really changed very much at all. But at the end of the day, it's a very basic form of marketing. It's the same as direct mail through the post.
Yes.
That hasn't really changed in 100 years. Sending
interesting, isn't it?
Sales letters out by post and sending emails is just a development of that, really.
It's like information marketing. People were doing it 100 years ago.
They were,
you know, which is really interesting, and it's no different, is it, to what people were doing back then? But we're just doing it with email, different medium.
Exactly. Yeah. There was a guy in America, I think, who had a series of little books called the Blue Books, which I think sold for 10 cents each or something. But, but he had hundreds of them and ran newspaper ads, people who could order batches of these books and made a fortune at it. But that's no different to us creating e-books or Kindle books or whatever. Things don't change that much, really. The principles of marketing stay much the same.
One of the interesting things I think about internet marketing, and one of the really fascinating things which people in other industries don't really get, is the amount of sharing that people do as far as knowledge goes. And I talk to people in other industries and tell them that, you know, I've just released a course showing people how to do exactly what I do online, and people say, well, why would you give away your trade secrets? And they don't really get it. Why do you think it's so different within internet marketing? Because literally within internet marketing, you can go out there, buy a product tomorrow, an ebook, and you're all set. You know exactly what to do. And you know, so why is it that people give away their trade secrets, do you think, in this industry and are so open?
I think it's because, well, I think that the internet has a kind of an open source mindset anyway.
Yeah.
People who are sort of into the internet like the idea of sharing, but more so because at the end of the day we're marketers. The market is just so big that it doesn't really matter how many people you share your ideas with, you're never going to saturate it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's thinking globally rather than thinking locally. I mean, a local shop can't share their secrets because they're in competition with people in the same town. Whereas when we're on the internet, we're marketing to everybody in the world, millions and millions and millions of people, and new people coming online all the time. That there really hasn't reached a saturation point and isn't really likely to. So sharing is there's no downside to it, really.
Right.
And it moves further on. I mean, it's not just sharing of information through the books and the products that you create. It's sharing between internet marketers. If you get over into the left-hand lane now. At 87 G-force.
Yes. Yes.
You know, what really surprised me more than the fact that people share their ideas in books was when I first started going to seminars and I first started running the London Lunch, that professional internet marketers like you and I were more than happy to sit down and tell each other exactly what we were doing and how we were doing it and the latest tricks that we'd come across and what we tested. And this is stuff that in any other industry would be proprietary information.
This lane or the left?
Stay in that right hand side lane.
Okay. Yeah.
Then we do a loop and come back.
Yeah.
Stuff that in any other industry would be seen as proprietary and you wouldn't talk about it. As marketers, we talk about it all the time. We're always sharing ideas.
Absolutely, I love doing that. Yeah. All right, so we're going to go round this roundabout and then go back down the other exit.
You want to go over where those cars are coming out.
Ah, right. Okay. Cool. Fantastic. So what are your first thoughts on the old Tesla then?
I think it's wonderful. It's a bit disconcerting not being able to hear an engine.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it?
Keep over onto the left.
But the funny thing is, this is a ludicrously expensive car, but the interesting thing is, I just know as a fact, and I know that you know as a fact, that in 5 years' time, all cars will have this technology, most likely, down here, this is all going to filter through into the average family car, and this is what everybody's going to be driving in a few years' time, which is fascinating, really. It's just going to get better and better. Yeah, me too.
I need to send out a few more emails, I think.
Yeah, I think we need to do another email campaign. Okay, let's filter through here. But it just blows my mind that you could just take this home, plug it in, and charge it up. You know what I mean? No petrol. There's only about 3 moving parts in the whole car, or something crazy. 3. Yeah, there's no maintenance.
2 of them are us.
Yeah. Well, there's virtually no maintenance in a car like this. There's no oil. You don't have to have it serviced. It's just the tyres, really. And it's got some. I think it's an 8-year unlimited mileage guarantee when you buy the car, which is just nuts.
Well, since you don't have to pay for the electricity to charge it at petrol stations, you could do a lot of mileage, couldn't you?
You could do, yes. Yes, absolutely. The guys I borrowed this from were absolutely fine, didn't mind how many miles I did, unlimited mileage, so and haven't charged it up yet, so that should be quite interesting when I do the...
Looking at the dashboard, you've still got 219 miles before you need to worry.
Oh, yeah. Oh gosh, we've got a traffic jam coming up, I think.
No, that's on that lane.
Oh, okay, good. Good. Oh, what's he doing there? Still don't trust the autopilot.
So what have you been testing lately? Turn the tables on you.
What have I been testing lately? Well, I'm actually testing a new email trick at the moment where I send emails out daily. Whether I can keep it up or not, I don't know. But I've actually found in the past that the more I email my list, the more responsive they become. In other words, the more they open emails, the more they click on links, and ultimately the more money you make. So I'm going to really put this to the test and start emailing my list a lot more.
When I first started Kickstart, way back, I sent it out 5 days a week.
Yes.
And I was concerned about overloading people at the time, but I carried on for a couple of years, 3 years maybe. Doing 5 days a week. And when I eventually decided to cut down a bit, mainly for my own reasons, because I just wanted to spend a bit less time doing it, I got so many emails from people saying, "Where is it? Why haven't I received today's edition?"
Right, yeah.
And I think once people get, and it goes back to providing good content, provided that you're entertaining people or you're making them think, or
absolutely,
you're challenging them, or whatever it is that you're doing that isn't just promotion.
Well, it's all about the relationship, and that's one of the things I'm kind of improving now that I've got several members of staff on my team. I can kind of do more stuff and be more productive. So one of the things I'm actually doing now is when I write an email newsletter, I used to just send out the email newsletter and it got sent out and then that was the end of it. Whereas now I'm thinking, well, what else can I do with that content? It's unique content. So one of the things I'm doing now is as soon as the email has been sent out to the list, I take that same content and it's put on sarahstaar.com as like a blog post. I've also got a newsletter archive, which is a tip I picked up from you, Martin. So I've got a new website called sarahstaarnewsletters.com, and that content gets put onto that site. And Kathy, she puts like some nice images in there as well, spruces it up a bit. And it also gets put on my Facebook page, so on my Sarah Staar Facebook page. And there's also a link to Twitter. I'm thinking about using Google Plus and a few other things, and it really does work. I mean, I did a couple of. I've only been doing this for a day, but yesterday I put 2 posts up, and we've had about sort of 20-30 people interact with it on Facebook already, and those are people who might not necessarily even be on my list, or maybe they are on my list, but maybe they didn't open the email, or it got put in their spam folder, or something like this.
The more ways you can reach people, the better.
Yeah, so it's like the multiple points of contact. I think that's something I really want to play on, moving forward.
But again, I keep on saying the same thing over again, but it goes back to the quality of your content.
Yes, absolutely.
And your emails are really readable and really interesting. Hopefully mine are.
Oh, yours are. I think the interesting thing about what you're saying there, good content. It's not necessarily. I think there's a misconception that people think if they start up an internet marketing newsletter, it's got to be good content. In other words, it's got to be full of amazing tips on how to do internet marketing, when that's absolutely not the case. Like, you can just talk about, like you do movie reviews and things.
I don't very often talk about internet marketing at all, actually.
Well, I mean, I get the best response from just talking about just anything but internet marketing, like this road trip, or I had a rant about how a lot of the car reviews on Top Gear are fake and things like that. People love stuff like that, and when you wrote about your shed and your sauna in your back, in your shed in your garden and stuff, and building your pond, and things like this, and people love just general content like this.
I think it's because people like to be in your lives.
Yeah,
they like to know who they're dealing with.
Absolutely.
There's the old saying that people do business with people they like.
Know, like, and trust. Yeah,
and it's not being cynical about it. It's if you're prepared to share of yourself, then people are more interested in what you've got to say. I'm often asked, particularly at the London lunch, when people come up to me and say, "How's your pond going?" or "How's your granddaughter?" And people often say to me, "Well, don't you sometimes get a bit scared about sharing so much of your life? Aren't you concerned about privacy?" And my answer to that is, well, I choose what I share.
Absolutely.
So, there's probably a lot going on in my life that I don't talk about, but I talk about the things that I am. Mm-hmm. I try to talk about things that other people are doing as well. Like if I've been to the movies, I'll write about the film. Or, if we've been somewhere interesting, go over into the inside there.
It's changing lane. It's changing lane for me.
Oh, no.
How bizarre was that? Okay, sorry. It hasn't done that before.
Very disconcerting car. It's just really about connecting to other people's lives. Yeah. Connecting your life to theirs.
Yeah.
Then they're more interested in reading about you. It's a bit like living a soap opera.
It is a bit, isn't it? Yeah. So I keep expecting Kit to start talking to me, like a Knight Rider, but.
They should have built a voice in, shouldn't they?
Should have a name, like Siri or something. But
Tess.
Tess. Yeah, hi Tess. So we coming off at the exit at the top here, are we? Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah, so I mean, one of the things I'm thinking about trying, and it's something I've been thinking about for ages, just never got around to doing, is creating a newsletter app. A bit like a podcast. So every time I create a new newsletter, it would be if someone's got this installed on their phone, they'd get like a message on their phone saying there's a brand new newsletter, and that's just one of the things I'm thinking about maybe creating. That might be
that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I'm always coming up with ideas like that. It's just implementing them all, isn't it?
So I seem to remember someone did that years ago.
Really? Okay.
But it was way too early. I mean, it was before really we had the sophisticated phones that we have now.
The thing is that your demographic and my demographic, they're not necessarily people who've got smartphones, are they? We go off here,
yeah, straight on over this roundabout.
Okay, so that is the problem. I mean, you were telling me about your demographic earlier, weren't you? About the fact that a lot of people don't read your newsletters
according to my stats, I've only got about 8% of people who read the newsletter on mobile phones.
That's really interesting.
But that may be because I've never really optimised the newsletters for mobile phones, so they're hard to read on mobile phones, so people don't do it.
I need to test that. So is that your autoresponder that tells you that?
No, it's SendGrid, the company that I send emails out through. But at the moment I'm rebuilding all of my templates for my newsletters, so I will be sending out mobile-friendly emails from now on.
Good.
And I'd be interested to see if that pushes the numbers up really.
Down here,
yeah? Told you I was bad at
That's all right. I'm not good at following directions. Apart from internet marketing, I'm quite good at following. I followed your directions, didn't I, back in 2008?
You did.
Look how far.
Better than me.
Well, Martin, thank you so much for coming for a ride in the Tesla.
It's been
and
great
doing
fun.
a Tesla interview.
Thank you.
The first of many, I hope. And I just want to say a big thank you for teaching me internet marketing.
Thank you for teaching me all that you've taught me over years.
Right. And if people want to find out a little bit more about yourself, maybe sign up to your newsletter, which, by the way, you should be on Martin's list. If you're involved in internet marketing, you need to be on Martin's list. How can people go? How can people join your list to get your newsletter?
Simple. Go to kickstartnewsletter.com.
Kickstartnewsletter.com.
That's right.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Martin.
You're very welcome.
That was all right. That was fun, wasn't it? Yeah.